In the previous episode, we learned about the meaning of Charlie Kirk's name and how, for better or worse, it defined his established role in the game. We also saw where the elite introduced the game of baseball into the narrative and how it and the turning point signage seemed to be pointing us backward in time. As stated, behind Charlie and the security personnel, banners were displaying the name Turning Point USA. Names are very important to the message they were busy sending. In fact, they went out of their way to explain this to you. Pete Hegseth, Secretary of War, stated in his likely ghostwritten and carefully prepared speech at Charlie Kirk's memorial that Kirk in German means church, and that this was a turning point for the USA. They were overtly putting it in your face why he was allegedly killed. Heck, just look at the acronym for Turning Point USA. TP USA. TP is typically the abbreviation for toilet paper, and being TP'd is having rolls of toilet paper spread around your yard and in your trees. It's no accident that college kids were busy TPing homes around colleges right about the time of the Charlie Kirk incident. Is this just a convenient coincidence? Or were they telegraphing that the elite were busy TPing the USA with this event? And not just with unused rolls of toilet paper, but those that were crap-laden in the extreme. Remember, the elite, the secret societies, the Freemasons, and the Chosen never reveal truth by speaking. If their mouths are moving, they are lying. They reveal truth via their actions, via staged events and the subsequent memorials erected to honor them. Exactly as Christ taught us, both with parables and when determining good and evil. Look to the message that lay beneath and to the fruit being born. Clearly, right from the start, Charlie was deliberately being portrayed as an overt echo of Christ, and so it is certainly appropriate that he would be betrayed from within, just like Christ. At least, that's what they are working overtime to push. I think we will find that this betrayal came from both a man and a woman that were very close to Charlie, just like Trump's earlier betrayal came from a man and a woman. If you read my books or watch my other videos, you will note that I tell you that the two eclipses over the United States in 2017 and 2024 were meant to represent both microcosmic and macrocosmic depictions of the crucifixion of Christ, with the United States in the starring role of the latter. In particular, from a macrocosmic standpoint, those eclipses represented the midpoint of said crucifixion, with the darkness spreading over the land. Instead of lasting but a few hours, this lasted nearly 7 years. And here's something really interesting. The eclipse in 2017 ended at 1609 local time for the continental United States over Charleston, South Carolina. An eclipse that I believe represents a crucifixion just happens to end over a town named after King Charles II. And then a crucifixion takes place with someone named Charlie 8 years later. Someone that is overtly painted as a Christ. It makes you think, doesn't it? Especially since Charles III is now King of England. But it gets better. You see, 3 days after the eclipse in 2017, on 24 August, Charleston, South Carolina, experienced what seemed to be a random act of violence. A disgruntled employee of Virginia's restaurant on King Street, allegedly killed a person and took others hostage before being shot by police. The alleged assailant allegedly told customers, "I am the new king of Charleston." First, look at all the references to Christ. We have Virgin from Virginia's restaurant to point to the Virgin Mary. We have King Street and someone claiming that he was the new King of Charleston to represent the King of Kings. And we have a single murder from a random act of violence. If you remember, I stated that Charles means free man. Well, it just so happens that Carolina comes from the Latin for Charles. So Charleston, South Carolina, literally means Charles Charles, Charles II, or man, representative of the realm of two parts, God the Father and Christ. As if to lend credence to this assertion, Charleston itself is known as the Holy City, and the flag of South Carolina seems to show an eclipse and a palm tree. Again, more references to the crucifixion of Christ. It should be noted that Charleston experienced clouds and rain at the very moment of totality in 2017, almost as if the sky was weeping. The same thing happened for St. Joseph, Missouri, right in the center of the country, a city named after Christ's earthly father, a sky filled with tears. Were both locations weeping for both Christ in the past and perhaps even Charlie Kirk 8 years into the future? But how? This may sound impossible, but it is intriguing to note that the first major city to experience the eclipse in the United States in 2017 was Salem, Oregon, a city that may have been named for the holy city of Jerusalem. While, as stated, the eclipse ended at Charleston, a city known as the Holy City. Here we see indications that the entire country of the United States was symbolically meant to represent Jerusalem during the crucifixion of Christ. If this is true, then I ask, was Charlie Kirk meant to represent the third Charles? From Christ to Charlie, from Salem or Jerusalem to the holy city of Charleston, what are we seeing here, my fellow souls? Turn this over in your minds, folks. Way back on 24 August 2017, a guy kills someone, takes others hostage, and claims he's the new king of Charleston. You very likely think that I have lost my mind or possess delusional pareidolia by daring to link an obscure killing from 2017 to Charlie Kirk just to prove my crazy theories, don't you? Well, here's the payoff. Remember, that was 3 days after the great eclipse, which I maintain was a replay of the crucifixion of Christ. Fast forward to 22 September 2025, 12 days, which is a summed 3, after Charlie Kirk's alleged assassination, and the very day after his memorial in Glendale, Arizona, where he was overtly painted as a crucified Christ by a coterie of lying politicians who grotesquely draped themselves in the fakest facade of Christianity. On that day, a similar event happened. A man named Jacob Chansley, better known as the QAnon Shaman, for dressing up in fur and horns on 6 January 2021 and being the main image people associated with the insurrection at the Capitol, filed a $40 trillion lawsuit right next door in Phoenix against Donald Trump, claiming that he, Chansley, is the true president of the United States. Remember, the ill-named and likely FBI-instigated insurrection sealed Biden's questionable claim to winning the election. At 3:33 a.m. the next morning, notice the threes, Congress certified the Electoral College votes. And of course, this insurrection took place at the Capitol, which is located on the crossing, or on the cross, dividing Washington, D.C. into 4 quadrants. So, Trump's first term was literally crucified on the crossing, along with his followers. Do you see how this story plays and replays over and over again? Let's recap. In 2017, the first year of Trump's first presidency, and immediately following an eclipse, we had a man claiming to be the new king of Charleston. Likewise, now, the first year of Trump's second presidency, and also immediately following an eclipse, which, as we will see in a later episode, took place on the very day of Charlie's memorial service over New Zealand and Antarctica. We have a man similarly claiming to be the true president of the United States. Both events occurred after what I claim is a symbolic representation of the crucifixion of Christ replaying around us. And finally, we have a person named Charlie being allegedly crucified 8 years after an eclipse that ended over the similarly named Charleston, South Carolina, a place known as the Holy City. The replay is uncannily accurate. But that's not what makes this episode so incredibly haunting. I understand that, at this early stage, you likely deny any linkage of the eclipses in 2017 and 2024 to the Charlie Kirk incident. That's fair. I haven't fully made my case, and although I have much more research to present, I do accept the skepticism at this point. However, what I'm about to show you should at least crack open the door a little bit, and perchance even stretch coincidence and random chance to the breaking point. You see, it turns out that there was a third solar eclipse over the continental United States over that nearly 7-year period. It was actually the second, or middle, eclipse. And that particular eclipse crossed over both the 2017 and the 2024 eclipse paths, forming a very interesting triangular shape. Collectively, all 3 eclipses conspired to create 3 separate crossings, all of them over the United States. Do you understand how unlikely that prospect is? 3 eclipses over 79 months, intersecting to form a triangle or a pyramid over the continental United States? That's simply incredible by itself. But what if I told you that that second eclipse took place on Charlie Kirk's 30th birthday? Not only that, what if I told you that the path of totality of that second eclipse passed very near the site of the Charlie Kirk Incident in Orem, Utah? Indeed, that area should have experienced about 87% of totality. In addition, the path of totality proceeded south-southeast and passed close to the Phoenix-Glendale area, site of Charlie Kirk's memorial, and the Turning Point headquarters, where there should have been nearly 80% of totality. That's pretty wild, isn't it? Add to that the fact that there was a solar eclipse on the very day of Charlie's memorial. Do you not see this stretches coincidence to the breaking point? I know that what I'm saying sounds insane, but please give me a chance. I have an amazing tale to tell that you will not hear anywhere else. Isn't it just possible that I might be able to see things that no one else can see, based on the path that I have traveled the past 16 years? Let me teach you how to see the mirrored events in time, Let me teach you the story within the story that is being shown with Charlie Kirk. Something's going on here, boys and girls, and it has been extremely well planned and executed at the level that far exceeds that of mere mortal men or women. It betrays either the possession of sacred knowledge or the help of some advanced form of life, or a spiritual/divine component. I don't claim to have all the answers, but I have uncovered quite an amazing tale. If you found this topic interesting, then please check out my other videos and my books. My website is www.mastersofthemirror.com. Thanks.